afternoon for coming to your session this afternoon. I'm very thrilled to have you guys here. It's not an easy thing to have to deal with a lot of emotions that we are going through based on what we have so far. And if you guys let me recapture some of what I understand occurred in your relationship of 7 years. You have 3 kids, and your marriage has been happy. It's been functional, and you have done a lot together until we had an indiscretion that came about by Mr. Juan de Pena. And how did you discover this incident? Is this something that you knew all along, or did it catch you by surprise?
Well, he had been very secretive. He wouldn't let me see his phone for a long time. So one day when he was showering, I went through it and I found messages and text messages, and phone calls to his lovely mistress.
I see. And did you know her?
No.
Okay. Well, Juan, listen, thank you very much for coming here. I think it's very important that you realize that there's trust issues now involved in here, and as we've already discussed, I don't blame her for being angry. And one of the things that she has, I guess, displayed is a level of maturity in trying to work this out, because you both are committed to not getting a divorce, although it has come to that. Am I correct?
Yes, yeah, I'm trying to work it out, you know, like, but she's always seeing ghosts, you know, like, I mean, I don't know, you know what we are, you know.
Well,
But I'm trying to,
That's so sweet.
okay, allow me to interrupt. I mean, it's not a ghost. We have to clarify that right there and right here, because what she discovered was no ghost. And it's something that tears families apart. And
it's just a friend.
And an indiscretion. Okay, well, I guess we may need to clarify. Was it an infidelity? Because you're saying it's a ghost.
I don't know.
Oh, it was not an infidelity?
No, I don't think. That's what she thinks. I don't know. She's wrong.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that you brought this up. I was, I guess, under the awareness that it was an actual proven infidelity. I understand that once you get an attorney involved, you have credible evidence. And she's committed to that evidence as well. She's not committed to you as well. So that's where the issue is. How do we get that commitment back into the relationship process? Now, I do need to have both of you to commit to that mission, to say, yes, I want to try this. I want to make sure that that commitment's not to that evidence. But we need to clarify that evidence to make sure that either you understand that it's good evidence and that it did occur, or that you don't have something credible on your hands. That's the issue at stake here.
Okay.
Can we do that?
I'm willing to do that.
Okay, so can we look at the evidence then, and just to make sure that he understands where we're at? We can do that, and maybe clarify some of the confusion here, so that we don't call them ghosts. And if they are ghosts, then we'll understand that that's just what they are.
Okay.
Can we agree to that? Do you agree?
Sure.
Okay, and now why do you call them ghosts?
Oh, I don't know. She's always, I mean, she's always like that. And like, she's very, always trying to see when it's not the real thing, you know, like, trying to, I try to explain to her, but she doesn't want to trust me, and I don't know.
Okay, do you think it may be because she's a sociologist and she's always having to...
That could be, I don't know, maybe. I don't know.
Okay, well, I mean, how do you respond to that? Is it a sociology thing that maybe...
Or naked photos from another woman. Ghosts.
Naked photos from another woman, ghosts. Did you show him the naked photos? Did you bring them with you?
He denies that he asked for them, even though I saw text messages that said he was asking for them.
That was not me. Okay, it was a friend of mine.
We're in a tough predicament.
Now she's laughing.
Well, it's a nervous laugh, I've gathered, and it happens when you have something that has
No, she
trouble.
thinks I'm playing around, and I'm not playing around. You laugh, you think, I don't know, I'm not playing around. No.
Well, who initiated
She's very
therapy?
serious. What's that?
Who initiated therapy? Who was the one that really wanted to come to couples therapy here? Who's the most committed person here that wants to make sure that this relationship works?
Okay, maybe.
Okay. Can we maybe focus on not attacking her point of view and just pretend maybe that maybe
I'm
there
not
is something
attacking her
there?
point of view, I'm trying to explain to her. I'm trying to convince her. No, that's not.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I understand what you're doing, and I understand where she's at. The issue might be a matter of communication and a way of relating to one another. There's a technique that we call in family therapy that has origins back in the 70s that has been studied by many and has given us a lot of good results. It is by an individual whose name is Bowlby. I'm not going to give you a lesson on that. But the basic premise is there's ways of communicating and forming relationships with another. It's an attachment theory that we look at. And let's say, for instance, when you were a child, and this starts when you're born until you're about 3 years old, your parents even give you the nurturance, or they give you the nurturance, or they even give you the attention. And at the same time, they were not there for you when you needed them most. And when certain inconsistencies occur in once 0 to 3 years old, you formulate this type of attachment that could be either anxious, that's ambivalent, or it's avoidance. It's sometimes disorganized. Sometimes you have a good solid attachment and you formulate relationships rather well because you have all the food, nurturance, some of the caregiving things that you have to have in your child at that stage. We can do some investigative work from our own with some homework or some genograms that we can produce if you're willing to commit and find out how is it that's going on. How is it that you guys are communicating? It's something called the internal modes mapping that you have in here already pre-programmed. And if we discovered what those are, it might give you guys some insight. And on top of that, it might give you a little bit of reflection as to what you went through in your lives as you were growing up. To look at what kind of family issues you may have had that are affecting you now, that are invisible, that you are not seeing. Because what I see is a level of communication that's not kind of cohesive. So we want to make it coherent. And one way to do it is to work through these projects, a genogram, an attachment genogram. Sometimes give you a goal to say, yes, we want to do this. We want to make sure that we communicate more effectively. Because that may be the issue here. Maybe somebody didn't give you those pictures. Maybe somehow something happened and the communication was misread. And you were able to, get that information. That wasn't meant for you, but it is. We have to have our boundaries, you know what I mean? And maybe you misread it. I don't know. But let's not deal with that right now. Let's just deal with how we're communicating. And then maybe we can go back to the evidence and to our commitment to that evidence and your commitment as well. And then we can investigate that. Is that something you think you can work through to find out what kind of attachment or internal modes mapping you have to see how it is that you're relating? It's something that can give you insight.
Okay.
Okay, well, for the next meeting, I'm going to have some paperwork ready for you and some questions, some questionnaires that might be able to give you that and produce something solid that you can say, well, this and this happened, and this is how I react, and this is how I see the world. And you might be able to get to internal models mapping. It's something that I think is fascinating. It changes people's perspective, and that's what we're hoping to do here. But first and foremost, I want to thank you both for having that commitment to not dissolve something that has so much value. A family, 7 years together with 3 kids. What are their names?
Mike,
You got Mike, and Mike, how old is Mike?
7.
Oh, Mike's 7.
Sandra,
Wow.
5.
Sandra, 5.
And Brittany's 3.
Victor's 3. So Mike was 7, and so he was already 1 year. So actually, you guys were married 7 or 8 years.
7. I was pregnant.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, that's something that we can discover in the genogram and seeing how that occurred. You could go back to your family of origin and go back into those generations, go back to the generations and find out how many pregnancies were there at the point of marriage. You might be surprised to find that your grandmother and your great-grandmother went through the same thing, and it's something that happens in the family, so it's perfectly okay. So, until the next meeting, I hope you guys do well. If you have any issues or any questions with getting here, please don't, because you have a commitment now for the rest of your lives that you're trying to salvage. Do you agree? Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
You
thank
guys
you.
have a wonderful day.
You too.
thank you.
Thanks.